there's some new data which come out which showed that on average, women are taking GLP-1 drugs, Ozempic, Mounjaro at higher rates than men. And there could be many, many reasons for this. Social pressures, women visit the doctors more on average. But I'm curious, I guess what your thoughts are, as, obviously a research scientist, an elite athlete, coach, someone that has, dedicated their life to kind of women's health. I'm curious what your thoughts are kind of on those drugs specifically for weight loss.
Yeah, it's a tool in the toolbox, right? We see that for those who have really severe issues with the food chatter, right? It's really beneficial for just giving them a break to get rid of the food chatter so that they can focus on all the health parameters that they need to improve. The one caveat that we are finding is that we have some of the precision medicine companies that are like, let's microdose with GLP-1s. There's no evidence for that. And so that's a bit of a bit of a scary thing where, again, we're seeing marketing stronger than science. And we're not having any kind of quote green prescription, meaning that we're not having a prescription of exercise and what to do to preserve bone and muscle with the weight loss. Because yes, you're losing weight, but the first thing to go with rapid weight loss is muscle and bone. So if we're not actually putting into context what's happening with this weight loss, we're going to end up with a very sarcopenic and sick, leaner society than what we have now. So, yeah, it is interesting the way we've had this uptick when we see maybe 10 or so years ago when the GLP-1s were just for diabetics, that one of the precursors for obesity surgery was a high protein diet, because high protein diets instigate the same satiety effect that GLP-1s have and promote weight loss. But again, when we're looking at today's society, we are all lazy and we're all getting used to being lazy and comfortable. So I think that's the misstep. I'm not saying that people who are using GLP-1s are lazy at all. I'm saying, like, as a society, we also have to rethink how we're prescribing meds and what we're prescribing with it. So just like menopause hormone therapy is a tool in the toolbox, GLP-1s are definitely a tool in the toolbox too. I don't agree with the microdosing. I don't agree with using it for the 10 vanity pounds that people are, pushing. But I do agree with it as a health marker and a way to get people out of the situations they are in and be able to start to look at their lifestyle and habits and start to get down the path of a better health span.
Yeah, this is a real interesting one for me, and I do know a number of people in my life that are, taking one of these drugs. And I'm curious, one of the things I've been wondering, because I actually don't know anybody yet that has stopped it and then, gone on with their life, even though I have seen people dramatically lose a lot of weight on them. What happens, or, what does the kind of evidence suggest after, I guess, someone has finished taking them? Do they maintain a new weight? Do they kind of go back up? What's the
It's too
landscape?
new. The GLP-1 rage is too new, that there isn't any long-term evidence. And the way that it's been promoted is you should be on it for the rest of your life. When we look at some of the older research from, like, The Biggest Loser, that was really, the popular show, maybe 10 years ago, and the ramifications of what's happened afterwards, where they've had a metabolic reset. And even though they're doing exercise, because they had such rapid weight loss under such severe conditions, that their body's kind of rebounded. So that's my fear too, is like, okay, now you've lost all this weight, but what habits have you put into play to then maintain that if you come off it? And that's why I'm like, we need to push. Like, there are some really good obesity surgeons who are working with the holistic aspect of, okay, we need strength training. We need to understand dietary habits and what are your triggers. We also need to put in some cardiovascular. So they're really good at wrapping it up, but not everyone is doing that.
Yeah.
So until we get that long-term research, It's like we have to really emphasize these behavioral changes that go with it to improve health span, so that if there ends up being some long-term data that says, you know what, you really shouldn't be on it for more than XYZ years or months, then people aren't all of a sudden going, oh my God, what do I do?
We're living as part of a natural experiment.
I know. It's a population experiment.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we'll see what happens there.